So we've come to our final segment here in our special Labor Day broadcast. Keep up with Tarpley.net. Buy my books through Tarpley.net. New items on there every couple of days, certainly every week. Let's look now at the current state of the labor movement. Head of the AFL-CIO, Richard Trumka, comes from the United Mine Workers, widely thought, like so many labor leaders, thought to be blackmailed by the FBI and the Department of Justice through various scams, frame-ups that they have. Trumka really got his job by going to the United Steelworkers Convention in 2008 and telling them that the only reason you could oppose Obama was if you were a racist. And he attacked the voters of Pennsylvania and Ohio and West Virginia and Kentucky, who all voted heavily against Obama. He attacked all of them by implication that they're all racist. Well, I'm sorry, Rich. Wall Street puppet is what I see, and that's the main issue. So that's Trumka. The SEIU, I guess we could call that syndicalism, ultra-left, militant tactics, but ultimately no program. Now, the state of the unions today, you got a lot of unorganized immigrant workers who have no concept of a union tradition. You've got an aging workforce. If you take the, if we take the UAW, the UAW is now, the UAW was once 1.5 million workers in the late 70s. 390,000 active UAW members today, 600,000 retired. And this has an effect, right? Retirees, not that militant. Deindustrialization of the United States since the great U-turn under Carter, Volcker, Reagan has taken a tremendous toll. The decline in the standard of living, minus 2/3, and the essential atrophy of industrial employment, that it's now service workers, and service workers are not as easy to organize in some ways, and they're going to be less militant under many circumstances. Plus now you've got the reactionary, militant right-wing Glenn Beck, Rush Limbaugh, Hannity, O'Reilly, Mark Levin yelling against the union movement, the Tea Party, Engel, Brewer, the rest of these people, all screaming against trade union, not against Wall Street, who created the crisis, but the unions. Yeah, they're responsible. This looks very much like Germany, 1931-32. This looks like the Brüning attack on various organized labor forces. Now, we have Obama, and the labor helped to put him into power, and we had Trumka a couple of days ago saying that he wants to mobilize again to try to build up enthusiasm for Obama. Well, I have to be very skeptical about this. What did Obama do? Now, the reactionaries all say that Obama did so much for labor. What did he do? Let's take the United Auto Workers. In 2008, 2009, Obama deliberately drove Chrysler and General Motors into bankruptcy. He wanted them to go bankrupt so that he could essentially break the UAW, and that's what he did. The Gettelfinger leadership, complete sellouts at the UAW, allowed Obama and Ratner the Rat to dictate that the wages and conditions and benefits in the Detroit and northern plants go down to the same level or even worse than a non-union southern right-to-work state, non-union open shop, basically yellow dog shop, if you like. That's what Obama did for the UAW. The other aspect of it is, if we look at unionism today, it's hard to organize. Well, card check would make that easier, right? Card check means that you can get 30% of the people to. Right now you have to get 30% of the people to sign a card, and then you have to have an election in two or 3 months, and the bosses then use that time to harass you. Instead, this could all be done by card check. In other words, sign a statement saying you want a union, send that in. Has Obama and the Democrats, have they, with their great majorities, done anything for labor in that regard? No. Instead, we would call for the repeal of the Taft-Hartley Act. One of the good points of Ralph Nader was that in one of his recent campaigns, he made the repeal of the Taft-Hartley Act something that they talked about. There's also Obama's attack on Medicare, his attack on Social Security, and so forth, and no hint of a WPA, PWA, FERA, CWA program of job creation by the government. So the result now is, if in 1945, 36% of U.S. wage earners were members of unions, we're now down to 9% of wage earners are members of unions. That is the lowest since 1932. The private sector is the worst of all. Here's where the union busters have been at work, the runaway shop, the service economy. 7.6% of the private sector is unionized. And they have been declining in absolute numbers as well as proportionally since 1983, since stupid Reagan broke the air traffic controllers. Public sector looks somewhat better. 37% of the public sector is unionized. That's why we get the big attack from the Wall Street Journal, the Limbaughs, the Hannitys, the O'Reillys, against the one area of some residual strength by labor, which is the public sector, where it's harder to use union-busting tactics because those union members are also voters. But we've got Christie, the Garden State Goering, who's giving it his best shot. In terms, it goes hand in hand with the atrophy of industrial work. The current industrial workers, let's call it production, transport, and related, 16.64 million in the United States. So out of the whole 310 million population, a little bit less than 17 million are in something you can call productive. And if we want to be more specific, production workers, 8.2 million. So we're way below 10 million. We're way below where we were in the 1890s. And this is the reason why China is now about to pass the United States in industrial production. So it used to be the British. It's been the U.S. for 120 years. It's going to be China. What are you going to do about it? And if you're going to do something, you're going to have to strengthen labor, because the labor component of this, to fight for it politically, is important. California is a state that has some strength in the in the service sector. Almost 17% in California are union members. The U.S. average 12.1%. There is the International Labor Organization of the UN, and they have a convention, the right to organize, not approved by the U.S., never been ratified by the U.S. And there was also, in 2007, before the Depression hit, there was a small sign of a revival of unionism, an upturn from 12.1% to 12.4% in certain areas of the service economy, I believe. Yes, the nationwide service economy. Don't go without talking to me, huh? Don't leave. I want you to help me get the tomato. Sorry, the service economy going up a little bit. But Obama, the union buster, busting the teachers' union in the United Federation of Teachers, American Federation of Teachers, National Education Association, using Arnie Duncan, the privatizer and union buster, as Secretary of Education, the race to the top. Remember, Obama's family business is busting the teachers' union. His mother worked for the union-busting Ford Foundation. Obama's Chicago Annenberg Challenge was an attempt to bust the Chicago Teachers Union. And remember that is in turn a prelude to the destruction of free, universal, compulsory public education and a turn back towards feudalism, which is what these characters would like to do. So this leaves us with a bad situation. And just to sum up how bad it is, we have this Ratner the Rat. We mentioned him before. Steve Ratner, former New York Times writer. He's got a book about the bailout of the automobile industry, and he quotes Rahm Emanuel saying, F blank, 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 the UAW. I quote, F blank, 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 the UAW, says Rahm Emanuel, the chief thug of the Obama White House. That's the message, that's the Labor Day message to American labor from the Obama administration. So don't believe these reactionaries. This guy's a union buster, a wage gouger, and a general strike would be a great thing to see against this or that feature of the Obama regime. We'll be back next week, and enjoy your Labor Day holiday.